Okay, we're doing a whole series for you guys on buying at auction. Why? Because in my opinion, auctions are one of the best ways to buy discounted properties. So you need to know how to do this. I'm with Charlie Doyle from Strakers, and I want you to watch every single one of our videos about buying from auctions. So this question is, can I ask the auctioneer questions at an auction when I'm looking to buy? Charlie, and you're the guy standing up in front of everybody.
Can you? I mean, you can try.
Does that mean you're going to be helpful?
Whether or not, I think in the room, it's impractical. To start the auction, I'll always say there'll be no questions taken in the room.
Right.
You know, you've had 4 months, generally 28 days, 4 months build up to this.
Yes.
If you've got questions, get them out of the way early.
Right.
Once it comes to the room, you know, I've done, when it gets to the property, I'll do my notices, my preamble on the property.
What's notices for someone that's never been to a auction before? What's
just if there's any sort of last minute changes, any mistakes maybe, so if we've listed the property wrong, or there's a guide price change, or there's a bit, you know, that day there's some legal work that's come in, we just highlight it prior to the property being offered, just so everybody is clear. So you need to be there early to get the notices. Yes. The next bit, your preamble. What's your preamble? Oh, preamble. So that's just me welcoming everybody. So I call it my welcome notes. It has sort of two things. One, we've got to tell you where the fire escapes and various things are in the rooms. Tell you what's going on the night, because you know a lot of people that come to auctions are regular. They come regularly, but actually, majority of our buyers have never bought at auction before. Really? So it sort of just gives you sort of a bit of an idea of what's going. We're going to be selling in lot order, what changes, what's happening, what the process is you exchange on the night, what you can do afterwards, what I want you to do with the contract. We're going to take you upstairs where you sign the contract, all these little things. So I spend a couple of minutes. It also is good for me because it gets me just into a bit of a flow and relaxed. So I'm not so pent up about lot number one and getting it sold, so you get into a flow. So then when you get to the property, as I say, we'll do any notices that relate to that particular property. Yes. Okay. I'll do a bit of a preamble about, you know, it's a 3-bedroom semi, needs modernisation, etc. Yes. And then I get into asking for, bids as such. So there's no space for questions. Right. At that time. Also, you're rolling, going, I don't want questions anyway because it just messes everything up. And to be frank, I'm not going to answer a question on the rostrum. Yes. Okay. You've had your chance. You've had the time. Just going to get on with it. Yeah. So I would probably just ignore you if someone shouts out. And he's a really nice guy as well. Yeah. And if someone keeps shouting out, we would just ask you to leave. Right. If we're going to be true. So I wouldn't even try asking questions. Most auctioneers will not deal with you at all on that basis. Purely because, as I've just said, you have got all that time. Yes. You know, you've got the build up. You've even got that day. When can you ask you questions about a property? Pretty much any point in those 4 weeks leading up to it. So it has a number of viewing slots. Yep. So, but it won't always be you. It might be somebody in your team. It's very rarely me. Okay. Maybe the odd Saturday, but very rarely me. So we'll have viewing slots. There's generally, in a 4-week period, we're probably doing two a week. Right. It might be less with some, but two a week. Yeah. For viewing each slots. Yeah. You can go. They're usually half hour, 45 minutes. You can view it as many times as you like in those slots. Fabulous. You know, the member of staff that's doing the viewing, you can ask them questions. They may or may not know some of the answers. They may know things about the property they know there, but the background side of it, it's probably best just to come or call up and speak to one of the auction team. Now, most people don't realise that's an option. That you would be comfortable with somebody who's genuinely interested in buying a property, phoning up and going, could I have a 20-minute appointment with Charlie to talk through this property? Whether I go down the whole 20-minute appointment talk through a property, I don't know. But no, I'm more than happy. If people want to call up and ask, have a chat. They want to have a chat. They want to ask questions. Yes. Then yes. Ultimately, what am I here for? As you know. Our clients instructed us because they want to sell their property. Yes. Some of those cases is just to sell it, some of those is to get the best price, etc. So our job is to make sure we get people in the room and bidding to get the best price. So i.e. the buyer. Yes. We want them there. We want them bidding because the more people bidding, the more chance we've got of one selling it, to getting a better price. So we will do whatever we can to be able to get you into a position to buy at the auction, and that's including being super helpful. Being helpful. On the phone. We'll automatically follow up. So my team will follow up every viewing. So if you view an auction property on an auction slot, the next day or the day after, you will get a call to say you had a look at X property. What did you think? I've had so many of those calls. Yes. So straight away, without you having to contact us, we're contacting you. Yes. Now, there's an opportunity to ask a few questions.
Yes.
And then we're happy if you're interested. We'll just keep in touch, ask questions.
Yeah.
We will answer the best we can. We can't answer every question.
Sure.
Not everyone we can deal with, and there's some of them which are more appropriate that you need to go and get professional advice on, whether that is a solicitor or a surveyor.
So for you guys, and I don't know if you heard, Arthur's making his tea in the kitchen, which is very nice of him. You've got 4 weeks to ask questions. You can go to the viewings as many times as you want. You will meet members of the team, not always the auctioneer directly, but then you can call into the office and ask some questions. But you'll be able to answer a certain number of those questions, but you guys have to be responsible to say, in my team, have I got an A-lister lawyer who's really competent about analysing the legal pack? Yes. Have I got an A-lister financial advisor who's really we've done other videos for you guys about how to buy auctions at auction. Have I got an A-lister financial advisor who's going to assist me with the financial side? So really, you're spreading out the information. Auction and house information, the auctioneer. Legals, the lawyer. Financials, your financial advisor. Is that about right?
It is that. I mean, we get a lot of questions on the legal side of things because there's a legal pack produced for the auction. We've got a copy of that, so we'll get asked a lot of questions because people quite often don't want to spend money on getting a solicitor to look at a pack,
which is crazy in my opinion.
Or the solicitors they've got won't look at a legal pack in a short space of time.
Yes. So at that point, you find a different solicitor who will look at a legal pack in a short period of time, but you don't do it when you've found the property. You do it because you as a property investor are going to be buying at auction, pre, during and post. So you need to build your team early, and you need a lawyer who's mobile you can text and have them text back in the evening, particularly when the notices come out and you go, oh, can you tell me what this notice means? So that's about you having the right legal team member, and there are some amazing lawyers out there.
Because a lot of changes can happen in the last week. There's probably more happens in the last week than it does in the preceding 3 weeks. So the legal stuff hopefully will all been out before then, but suddenly people, because I think it's human nature to leave things last minute, people start checking the legal pack in the last minute, and that's when occasionally there might be issues that start arising. So actually we find the week up to the auction is the busiest time for dealing with questions, dealing with issues. Builders are the worst because they always leave everything last minute.
Well, they're not paperwork people, let's be honest.
So dealing with that. But then we find that the auction day itself, so we hold our auctions in the evening, the actual day itself, quite usually that's our quietest day because generally people have done it. They've asked the questions. They can't really do much about it on auction day. The biggest question we get asked on auction day is what time and where is it?
Okay.
Then we get to the auction night. Now, our doors, for instance, open at 6 o'clock, auction at 7. So there's an hour. And it always amazes me of how many people turn up on the night who then go and have a read the legal pack because it's available because they've not looked at it once in the whole process. And then they start asking us questions or say, can we speak to the solicitor that's dealing with it?
And sometimes the solicitors are there.
Sometimes, but
not always.
As an auction house, we don't tend to have. Some auction houses will have solicitors sat in there. We'll answer them questions.
At desks.
We don't tend to. We may have solicitors there, but they're not there on a work basis to have a look. What we tend to find is actually most solicitors don't want to be making serious judgment calls at half an hour before an auction.
No.
So they don't really want to be put in that position. So we don't put them in that position. Quite often we'll get a lot of questions. I'll have, at 6:30, I'll have people asking me questions. I don't like this, or what's this mean? And the biggest response generally, I have to say, and it sounds a bit rude and a bit cold, is look, you shouldn't be buying it tonight. If you do not understand what this means,
don't touch it.
Then you shouldn't be buying it. Or I can't answer that now. If you'd have asked that this morning or yesterday, we could have found out. But at 6:30, I've got no one I can speak to about it. So you're buying it as it is, how you take it, and you have to make that decision. If you're not happy with it, don't buy it, or you come along, you take it on the basis that you're taking that issue, whatever it is, along with it.
So that is about professionalism. Get organised. Given that the auction catalogue comes out a month in advance, get organised way in advance. Do all those kind of questions way in advance. And also, if you are working full time, and many of you still will be, I would strongly suggest, because as you say, things change very much in the last week. If you have holiday due, well, guys, first off, all your money is going to be spent on property, and secondly, you're not going to have any time. So take a day or two in advance of the auction to just work on any last minutes that are going to happen your end as well, so that you're not feeling very rushed coming to the auction that evening. You know, you've taken the day of the auction and the previous day, just double checking all of your work as well, so that you're ready to go. Would that be sensible?
Yeah, definitely. I think preparation's key.
Yeah.
We can see the difference between people who are prepared and they're not.
Yes.
Does it really matter from our point of view? I suppose not. I just want people there bidding, and if they haven't done their due diligence, well, that's up to them. We'll help them through it, and you know, sometimes they encounter problems afterwards because of it, and again, we'll help them through it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but I'd rather people turned up knowing what level they can bid to.
That's it.
Whether they've checked the legal work, rather than we find out afterwards and then we've got to mess around and take time.
So it's all there for you, and the beauty of auctions is it's super fast. You know, you have committed to buying something. Brilliant. That means you have got yourself a deal now, but just professionalise and kind of work back from the auction and do your legals, do your financials, and then do your work with the auction house. So don't think they're not approachable, because they absolutely are. I hope that's useful. This is Charlie Dole from Strakers Auctions. Go on their website and have a look at every one of this series of auction pieces of information for you, because we're publishing some really good quality information here. Right, see you soon.